What is up, YouTube? Jared here, Four Guys Talking Cars, and happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you, especially those who have served or are serving our country. Today's video is going to be a little different. For the first time, we're going to do a little bit of a mashup between two of us. The two of us that have Dodge Chargers like this. And we're going to talk about the 6 reasons we're not going to be doing heavy modifications to our cars. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in this thing, find a place to park and talk about this, and we'll kick this off with Shane right after the intro.
Spark from the heart and it shines so bright. Yeah, let the whole world know. Let's go, let's go.
That's good.
I can see my name in lights. Ball till I fall and I'm feeling alright. Yeah, so let the whole world know. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
So look, everybody's talking about the first modifications they're doing to their cars. And listen, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I love those channels and I love seeing what people are doing. But for me, it's a little bit different. And when we're talking about the modifications, I'm mainly talking about new cars that are still under new car warranty. Those that are 5, 6 years old, go for it. It's on your own dime anyways. But for me, in my brand new car, modifications, and I'm talking specifically to the drivetrain, suspension, those types of modifications, not cosmetics, badging, and a few things here and there, totally fine. But for me, there's 6 good reasons why we are not going to modify the car. Number 1, warranty. You guys got to really be careful. Car dealers love to find reasons not to cover something. And if you've modified something and they think that it had anything to do with whatever you're in for, whatever repair, they're going to call it a call foul and say, we're not covering this. So what are some things that can void your warranty? And what are some things that won't void your warranty? I will reference a couple articles below, because certainly you want to go out and read about this yourself. I'm not the expert, but I've done a little bit of research, and I think I know some things that might void your warranty. 1, anything that you do in terms of tuning or flashing the computer ECU, that can be recorded. That can certainly void your warranty. Pretty sure about that one. Anything that you modify to the internal components of the engine. If you're taking off and you're putting on turbos, you're changing out pulleys, anything that you're doing that your own repairs or your own additions that's not part of a dealer package, look out, that could be a problem. Other things, suspension modifications, exhaust modifications, cold air intakes, all of these things, I've seen this before. If they see that you've messed with anything and you go in and there's an issue and they see that, or they see the suspension and they find reasons not to cover, it could certainly void your warranties. What are some other modifications? If you guys think of some things that I missed, again, this is not meant to be comprehensive, leave it in the comments below. We'll certainly answer those. Nitrous oxide, wheels and tires, you got to be careful with those, because if they're not exactly OEM replica or to specs, and you mess up something with the suspension or alignment, they're going to find a reason not to cover that as well. I've also seen external LED lighting, and I think you got to be careful with this one, because as cool as that looks, and I love it when I see a car going down the street and it's got that underglow, but if it's not either professionally installed, and even if it is, and you tap into the battery and you're tapping into wires and something goes wrong with your electrical system, that's a great way for them to say, hey, sorry, you didn't either clear it or have it professionally installed by a dealer, and this is going to void your warranty. So watch out for that one. These are some of the things that we often don't think about. So what are some things that are okay to do? And I did speak with a dealer, and most of the cosmetic things, including even some body kits that are dealer installed or dealer sold, OEM type stuff, Mopar body kits, are okay. Changing the badging, adding some stickers, doing things like interior accents, carbon fiber accents, putting different little hubcap covers on, stickers on the tent, window tinting. These are things that shouldn't cause any issues with warranty. So for me and my car, the reason why I bought this is I really like it the way it is. And I'm not knocking those that want to modify it and for performance and are out doing polls and going to the track. That's awesome. I love it, and I love watching those videos. But for me, that's just not going to be my thing. I really love how this car is in its original form, including the exhaust, suspension, tires, and wheels. I may change out the tires to a different brand, but at the end of the day, I really love the whole setup. And so for me, the warranty is a big issue.
Okay, really good thoughts on warranty and heavy mods and so on and so forth. I totally agree. Especially when you consider that most of these modifications that folks are making, they are actually going to reduce the value of your car, and I know Shane will touch on that a little bit further here. That said, there are a few cosmetic mods that can actually add value. Those of you that know, have watched our videos, you've seen that I had the ceramic coating done to my car as well as PPF. And ceramic coating is one of those things that'll actually be included, added as a note in your Carfax associated with the vehicle. So anything that can protect the finish, protect the paint from chips, cracks, etc., that's going to, increase the resale value. Is it going to add major value? Can't tell you that, but it's certainly not going to detract from the value of the car. Okay, on to reason number 2 for not modifying the car, and that is just respecting the build and the engineering of the vehicle. I think today, so many of us are so anxious to literally drive the car off the lot and start cutting on the vehicle, instead of taking some time to enjoy the vehicle as it was intended. Something else that's really important to touch on, I think, is almost the disposable car culture that's come about, despite the current car issues with chip manufacturing and the pricing increases. It seems like the access to these cars overall in recent years has just dramatically expanded. And I'm not sure if it's YouTube culture chasing, YouTube fame and fortune, I don't know, or whether it's just these cars are just not being respected. But all you have to do is just do a quick Google, quick search on YouTube, and you can see reckless driving, wrecked 392s and Hellcats, and other cars. It's not just these, but overall, just an attitude, it seems like, of not respecting the vehicles. And again, almost treating them like they're throwaways. I don't know why, but somehow it just seems like we've lost touch with just how expensive these cars are. And I'm not sure why that is. Maybe you can share some thoughts on that one.
Jared, I love that. You got to have respect for your car, right? All right, reason number 3, we're not modifying our cars. Future owners. At some point, there's going to be a future owner. Very few of us hold on to our car for forever. I mean, whether you want to collect it or not, most of us drive our cars. 3 to 5 years down the road, we hand it off. And I don't know about you, but when I'm buying a car, you're asking about history. I mean, there's Carfax. Everybody wants to see a Carfax. Everybody wants to know, has it been a one owner? How has it been cared for? Maintenance records. Has it been modified? Additionally, if you go to trade it in, modifying certain parts, if you go to some of the other videos that are out there that have taken their cars to CarMax, actually receive a lower trade-in value because of the modifications, right? And so you got to be careful about that. And I know that when I'm looking for a car, I really don't want a car that's been tinkered with much. I mean, if you've got a car that's been pulled apart and it's got multiple modifications, you just sort of don't know the history on that, I get a little bit scared. So for me, the future owner, future value, future trade-in value, I think is important.
Those are great points. And I could tell you, when I listed my 2009 Pontiac G8 GXP for sale, the first question I got from folks was, has the car been modified in any way, engine modification or anything else? And I got zero value out of that $2,000 Corsa exhaust system that I put on the car. So don't expect a lot of value out of mods that you do. certainly when it comes to resale, and some of them, as Shane pointed out, will actually reduce the value of your car. So let's get right into number 4, as to why we're not doing heavy mods. So I don't need more attention with this vehicle. I can tell you that one of the shocking things of driving this car for the first couple of months, I've got about 1,000 miles on it right now, is the difference is night and day between this and my G8 GXP, the attention I'm getting. I was in stealth mode in my G8. That did not snap necks. Those that knew what that was, it got some attention. But it's night and day. And I'll do a follow-up video diving into some of this, but needless to say, with cops and with thieves, the word is out on these vehicles. You know, I don't need my car to be louder. I don't need my car to be flashier. I don't need any more attention than it's already getting when I drive this car, and it's already being noticed. All you got to do is look at what's happening in major metropolitan areas. In some cases, cops are confiscating violator cars. And of course, the break-ins at dealerships, the stolen Hellcats, 392 Scats is well documented, and the ease of which they are breaking in and stealing these vehicles is shocking, to say the least. So I don't need any more of a spotlight on this vehicle. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to do a few fun things to my car. I already have, like this mod. This is kind of cool. I kind of like it. It's fun. And other folks have done things like tinting their back lights, changing the shape of the tail lights to kind of, you know, fly a little more under the radar, because the backs of these Dodge vehicles especially are very identifiable, whether it's a Challenger or a Charger. So that's not the worst idea, and something maybe I'll look into.
Jared, these are such cop magnets, I'm telling you. Lots of videos out there about being targeted, and even in certain states. Oh my gosh. Anyways, reason number 5 for us is the risk of breaking something. So let me just have you think about something. You have an auto accident, even if it's minor, you take it to the body shop, and what do you say? It doesn't matter how good the body shop is, it's never the same. So when you're in pulling stuff apart, you're pulling your dash apart, you're pulling lights apart, there's opportunity for breaking clips, breaking parts. If you have to pull a bumper off, sometimes it just doesn't go back the way that the factory intended it. And for me, I fixate on these little things, right? Like Jared talked about with the door alignment. I get really fixated on these things. And to me, once something has been tinkered with, it's hard. You got to be really good about putting stuff together. So the reason number 5 is I really don't want to break anything trying to install it. And I just know that if I do and it doesn't go back perfectly, I won't forgive myself.
You know, I really like that reason Shane just pointed out. You know, one of the things I looked at doing, I heard other folks were doing it, was installing interior LED lights. And I even bought the lights, and I started getting into the project. And when I found out that in order to change the 2 reading lights over the rear view mirror here, you actually had to pop the whole unit off, detach the wiring, you know, unpack the circuit boards. There was more than one. And I watched a few videos on how it was done. I just said to myself, I'm just not getting into that right now. Maybe down the line somewhere I'll have the inclination to want to do it, but it just seemed like, you know, the car's new. I'm just not feeling into, you know, pulling stuff apart. And as Shane pointed out, next thing you know, you snap a clip, something else breaks, and you get, you know, yeah, I passed on that one for now. Let's jump now to our last reason, number 6. And this is, you know, maybe goes back to the old school, more romantic nature of owning a car and really kind of enjoying that car or over the course of a number of years. It's kind of reflective of my earlier statement about the disposable car culture that we have today. You know, and maybe this just dates me, but, you know, when you own a car more than just a year or even a couple of years, you know, that car becomes more than just a blip on your life story. It takes you on adventures. It's there with you through the highs, the lows, the heartbreaks, the triumphs of your life. And, you know, it plays a role in cementing those memories. You remember certain places you were, certain things you did with that car, certain relationships you had, and major life events. That car's kind of with you for that. And that's why people develop this bond with their car, and when it's time to sell the car, they get kind of sometimes even choked up about, you know, having to trade their vehicle in, or if something happens to their vehicle, they get very emotional about it. So that doesn't happen as often when you only own a vehicle 6 months, a year, a couple of years. You don't really have that time to weave the car into the fabric of your life. And maybe that makes me sound just really ridiculous and old school, but when I look back at cars I had going through high school and things like that, those are, you know, just permanently woven into my life and my past. And you reflect on those, and those are great memories to have. So for me, I tend to like to drive a car for, you know, more than just a couple of years and really get to know the car, warts and all, the good, the bad, the ugly. And not, you know, you don't develop a relationship in the traditional sense, but anybody that's a car person, you know what I'm talking about. You develop that relationship, you know, and that's why for me, constantly modifying my car with dramatic changes and heavy mods, as we're calling it here, to me just feels like I'm kind of changing cars all the time. And, you know, it doesn't, for me, create that long-term bond with my car, so to speak. Not that there's anything wrong with all that. As Shane pointed out, I love watching a lot of guys out there do things to their car, chase greater performance, different looks, all that kind of stuff. But it almost feels like, again, back to what I was talking about earlier, it's almost like it's become a Tinder culture with cars, so to speak. You know, you swipe left, you swipe right, you hit it and forget it. You know, you get bored with your car, so you're constantly looking for it to get, you know, something new about it. I tend not to get as bored with my cars. I tend to love looking at my cars that I pick, admiring them, driving them, and just enjoying them for what they are most of the time. That's not to say that there won't be things that I will be doing to this car. As you can see, I've already done a few things, and there'll be a few more things in the works here. But in the meantime, there's a whole lot of stuff that we're going to be doing around these cars and enjoying these cars. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Shane to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for choosing to spend a few minutes with us, and hope you have a great day.
There you have it, guys. 6 reasons we are not going to be modifying our cars. Really appreciate you guys. The fact that we have some subscribers that want to listen to what we've got to say, I really appreciate it. Hey, listen, leave some comments. I'd love to just have some dialogue. I mean, the whole purpose of this is just to stimulate a community where we can dialogue. Let us know your thoughts. I know you're not going to agree with everything that I've said, and I love those vehicles out there that have been modified. Super sweet, not hating on those at all, but for us, we're not modifying. We love the cars the way they are. Appreciate you guys so much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, that's good.
Spark from the heart and it shines so bright. Yeah, so let the whole world know